Welcome to the second flip classroom. You may want to pause this and take out your manual and a pen to take down notes as you listen. Okay, if you're still in your seat, pause this. Go and take out your manual and pen. We'll be starting from page 128. Okay, so throughout this video, I may be cracking some lame jokes. There are a few puns, so you may try to identify them. It is a trick to get you to go through the whole video. So we have already learned about the marketing mix in class. Remember the 4 P's? Product, price, promotion, and placement. This short video will apply the marketing mix into global brands. So I'm sure you remember what global brands are, right? They are brands that are available and well known in most markets of the world. Right, so when you are marketing a global brand, as a marketer, you can choose between two strategies. You either standardize or you adapt the marketing mix, that is the 4 P's, to suit the target market. So standardization happens when brands are offering a uniform product on a regional or worldwide basis. Okay, on the other hand, adaptation happens when the brands change any of the 4 P's to suit local customers' needs, tastes, and preference. For standardization, the product will be the same, the price will be the same, the promotion and the placement will be the same. But if you adapt, you can adapt any of these. We have actually already pretty much discussed some of these in class. We will first look at why some brands standardize their marketing. So there are 5 reasons for standardization. When there is a common customer need, when there are global customers, when a brand can achieve scale economies when they standardize, and when the product has a short life cycle. So we call this time to market. And lastly, if FTAs are in place. This is when brands will standardize. The first reason a brand will standardize when going global is when the product appeals to a common customer need. Okay, so do you remember when I asked you all to come up with your own product ideas in class and to market them in class? I remember there's this group who came up with this product idea called Poogle. So Poogle is an app that helps you to track down toilets around you when you are having an emergency. Yeah? So actually this is a common customer need if you think about it, because everyone needs to go to the washroom. Alright, so the group said that the product will definitely sell worldwide because it appeals to a common human trait. And it is true. When a product can fulfill a common customer need across different countries, it makes sense to standardize the marketing mix. So one real-life example is Apple's iPhone. It is not only functional as a smartphone, but it also fulfills an emotional benefit. So for smartphones, the emotional benefit that the customer will get if they buy it is basically like you feel cool when you have a smartphone. You feel very tech-savvy. So that is the fulfillment of the product. A brand should also standardize when there are global consumers. So let's say in B2B marketing, that's a business to business. So some MNC branches from different countries, they may request for similar supply actually. So for example, right, Sunway, you know Sunway, what we do, there are a lot of construction-based businesses. So let's say they have branches in Singapore, Middle East, India, and whatnot. Each branch may purchase the same kind of equipment. And if you are selling to them, as a supplier, you will standardize your products because they are asking for similar things throughout all the markets in the world, the branches that they have. Okay, another example is in a B2C marketing. So there may be migrants looking for products they have been consuming back home. For example, right, some of you are interested to work in Australia in the future. When you're in Australia, I assure you, you confirm will miss your Asian food. Okay, so when you're there, actually, you become the consumer that have a demand. And when there are many of you who are there with that kind of demand, it'll be significant enough that certain local brands can go globalize to Australia to fulfill your needs. So the example here given is similar, but we just change it to Chinese migrant workers working in Australia. So they will have need for food, clothes, and products. Okay, another reason that you might standardize marketing is very simple. You want to achieve scale economies. What is that? Basically, you produce a lot. And if it's standardized, then you just produce the same products. So you produce a lot at low cost. It will save you cost of manufacturing. You distribute the globalized products which are identical. So you reduce price and you increase your brand's competitive advantage because everything is basically cheaper for you to produce. Another reason that you standardize marketing is if you want to be quick in introducing a new product. Okay, sometimes certain products, they have very short life cycle. After a while, they become out of date already. So as marketer, you want to make full use of that time to capitalize on the sales. So after some time, this market will become obsolete or outdated. So in this case, the company should centralize research and standardize the products to shorten the time to market cycle. So it's how long it takes for the product to get to the market in various countries. For example, right, iPhones, they are normally launched at similar timing all over the world's markets. And it's easy because it's standardized and you can buy them around the same time all over the world. Okay, the last reason for standardization is if there are FTAs in place. So you all know already, FTAs encourage trade across countries. So let's say under under NCETA, it's New Zealand and Australia, right? So we all know that New Zealand and Australia, they share trans-Tasman food standards. So actually in this kind of situation, you just standardize what you are producing, especially food. Because whatever is accepted in Australia is accepted in New Zealand. So if you have something of a certain quality, you can just market it as the same quality in New Zealand also. So just a quick recap, the 5 drivers of standardization: common customer needs, global customers, scale economies. You want to be quick when it comes to time to market, and there are FTAs between the countries involved. Alright, so as we discussed in the earlier slides, instead of standardization, the marketing can actually be adapted. So it can be any of the P's that is being adapted. So adaptation is most suitable when, let's say, you have very different consumer preference. There is a strong local competition. You want to improve managerial motivation, and when the environment conditions demand for adaptation. Alright, the first driver of adaptation is when consumer preference and tastes are different. So imagine you are going to a different market and the consumers totally enjoy different things. So you have to adapt your product. So an example actually is Oreos. You may not know this, but actually in China, they come in other shapes. So you can see here, they look like waffle sticks, and some are straw-like cookies. If you ask me, they suck. So Oreos in China are also less sweet, and the fillings come in different flavors, such as green tea to suit Chinese taste. Alright, another driver of adaptation is strong local competitions. If your competitors are very strong, your brands may be pressurized to localize or to customize your products to suit customer preference. Since consumers, they tend to be very loyal, so they don't really want to change. So if they are already very loyal to your competitors, you have to adapt to try and get them to prefer your brand. Okay, a third driver of adaptation is actually managerial motivation. So it may be important to involve local managers. So you want to tap into their creative talent, you want to include their feedback so that they feel like important basically. So it will increase their morale and sense of belonging. So it's usually used as a strategy to retain talent. Okay, so for example, you can see here the car is Nissan. When Nissan designed this car, it's called Extreme. The design team was based in San Diego. But creative time on the project was mostly spent in Brazil because actually they were targeting young car enthusiasts in Brazil. So I guess you could say that Nissan was very careful with their design. The fourth driver of adaptation is environmental condition. So look at the picture here, it shows an Italian scooter. It's called Piaggio. It's not a Pokemon, it's a kind of scooter. They lengthen the seats actually of the scooters in certain countries because the environment in India, Indonesia and family is different from where it came from in Italy. So families use them as their main means of transportation. So this way they did not have to scoot to make place. Okay, so Piaggio also improved their engines since the roads in these countries are a lot harsher than in Italy. Okay, so it depends on local circumstance. Alright, in short, the 4 drivers of adaptation for marketing are Number one, consumer preference is different, strong local competitors, managerial motivation, and environmental conditions. Remember all this, huh? So now you know the theory. Let's discuss some real-life examples. I suggest that you add some of these in your manual and read up on other examples in your manual also. Okay, so remember that standardization and adaptation can be applied to any elements of the 4 Ps. So let's start with the first P, product name. So Coca-Cola is an example, has standardized its product name, and it is not limited by language barriers. So the moment you see Coca-Cola's color, red color, and its font style, no matter where you are in the world, you can immediately recognize it as Coca-Cola. So can you imagine the collaboration that all the marketers put into it? Alright, so on the other hand, Burger King adapted its name to Hungry Jack's in Australia because there is already a local Burger King trademark in Adelaide. So this is where they adapted the product name. Okay, there's another thing that brands can adapt, and it's product slogan. So let's take a look here. Like Walt Disney, throughout the world is the same one. Their slogan is where dreams come true. Maybe that's why happy endings only happen in Disney. Nike, on the other hand, they adapted their slogan when they were in China. So they don't say just do it, they say use sports. Because apparently just do it, the slogan is too abstract for the Chinese consumers' liking. So as we can see here, there are actually pros and cons to both standardization and adaptation. Standardization obviously saves costs, is suitable and is only suitable for some products. Adaptation, on the other hand, is sometimes necessary. For example, different countries, you can see here, they have different labeling rules and electrical requirements. I hope that is not a shock to you. So in the picture, you can see how different countries have different electrical voltages for plug points. Okay, so we are now done with the lecture part of this flipped classroom. In the next slides, you should try to answer a few MCQ questions. They're very easy, and you can refer to your manuals, no worries. So in the last slide of this whole presentation, there are also a few questions that you should research on. It is very important that you do them because we will definitely be using them for discussion in class. Okay, so have fun. Bye.